The two nations that have moved their embassies to Jerusalem are the United States and Guatemala. Some Christians see three biblical principles at work. First, in Genesis chapter 12, it says that those who bless Israel will be blessed. Second, they see the example of King Cyrus of Persia, who 2,500 years ago allowed the Jewish people to return to Jerusalem and rebuild their temple. And third, they see nations today deciding to become either what the Bible calls sheep nations or goat nations, depending on how they relate to Israel. These Christian leaders from around the world came to Jerusalem to mark the one-year anniversary of the move of the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem and to pray.
We pray for your presence and your spirit to continue to be upon them.
So this is kind of like a gathering of key leaders, apostles, prophets, pastors, who already have not only the understanding of Genesis 12, 1 through 3, but the understanding of the importance of aligning nations to Israel to become a sheep nation. The whole thing is taking the example of President Trump as a modern-day Cyrus to pray and mobilize for other Cyruses to rise up in their nations.
Mario Bramnick heads up the Latino Coalition for Israel.
Our vision is to be one of the main voices of the Hispanic world in support of Israel. Recently, the Lord gave us a word to go to Latin American nations and meet with presidents. And the Lord has opened those doors, meet with churches and Jewish leadership to encourage their following suit of the movement of the embassy.
Bramnick sees a new season unfolding.
We are in a Cyrus moment where God is opening supernatural doors for President Trump, President Bolsonaro, Morales, and others, which aren't your typical politicians at all, but those that are marked by God for end-time movement.
One of those nations is Guatemala. Guatemala became the first nation after the United States to move their embassy 1 year ago to Jerusalem.
We believe this is a great time to celebrate together and the beginning of a new stage in our relationship. So instead of just becoming friends, we become allies, allies of Israel and allies of the United States.
It's a great privilege that comes with a huge responsibility to tell the world what is right and to be able to pray for the peace of Jerusalem and being here present also to be able to make that happen. And the only Christian ambassador in Jerusalem and the only one from Latin America also trying to inspire more nations to come also and follow our steps like the United States.
The First Lady spoke about the blessings that came to Guatemala by their obedience on the movement of the embassy.
They honored U.S. Ambassador David Friedman.
I grew up in a small neighborhood where, we kind of lived within, as they used to call it, a shtetl. So to see how the Jewish people have so many friends, it's deeply, deeply moving, and I'm deeply appreciative.
Bramnick says it's an important time for the nations.
This is a critical time. God has given us a practical litmus test on the movement of the embassy for those nations that are willing. The Lord said, go to nations without prejudging, like an evangelist will. Just preach the word. And the Lord also said that it is more for the nations than it is for us or for Israel, because as the nations take of this grace window, God's going to open up the heavenly windows and pour out his blessings and reign and prosperity over nations.